All right, this is KCOU live from Hitt Records with Kyle, the co-owner of Hitt Records.
Right.
We're here today to ask you a little bit about the start of Hitt Records and kind of what your vision was, because obviously this has been a great we for Columbia, but what were you thinking when you first started?
Well, initially it was a total experiment. We had no idea what we were doing. We were really into records, Taylor and myself, who's downstairs making soups right now at the bakery. There just wasn't a good record shop in Columbia, Missouri for years because most of them had closed or turned into various other shops. But we didn't know about this room even up here, like potential for it. It was VHS storage. So the vision was just like, we're gonna maybe open a record store somewhere, and like maybe it'll be in our basement, maybe it'll be in a storage unit, maybe it'll be in one of these like abandoned fringe like strip malls that are just outside of downtown.
Nothing says music like abandoned strip malls.
Just be like super low key. And even when we did end up in this space, which thankfully everyone in the building just loved the idea. It wasn't even our idea to begin with, to put it up here. It was the video store, and they're like, you should think about putting it up there. So it's kind of like funny business within a business. Total experiment, only open 3 days a week, only selling the records, selling our own collection. Taylor put up all of his records, and then just some records I'd like contacted when we opened, like 4 labels at that point. So like super low key. It was just like some Fat Possum, some Drag City, some Light in the Attic, and then like Taylor's used records. But people were all about it, and they just knew that we were really passionate about it. And those last 2.5 years, it's like slowly and gradually grown into this shop as you see it today.
Yeah, so it has seemed like you guys have been gaining a lot of momentum. I know you've been getting involved with the community a lot more. You had some sponsorships with shows at KCOU.
Sure.
Has it been a steady growth? Do you think that you have a good prospect for the future?
Absolutely. It's been a gradual and traceable increase in business and interest since we've opened. Granted, there is like a national and international interest in records as well, but I felt like we were always in tune with kind of like the core established audience that was always into records and has been through the dark ages, through the 90s and the 2000s, and they've been making these things for 100 years, and they're everywhere. So even if you're not into records, you're gonna encounter them in strange places, or like relatives are gonna hand them off to you, and you're gonna be like, what do I do with these things? And that's like initially how I ended up getting into records, just like getting my parents' record collection and stumbling into them in strange places. But our community involvement is core for sure. We just wanted to initially make sure this business could sustain itself, and now we're in the phase where like, all right, how do we get intertwined with the things we care about in our community? And one of those things is community and student-run radio, KCOU. Yeah.
Very cool. And speaking of getting involved with the community, I know you have been volunteering for True Falls. We're in the midst of it right now, the last day. This is Sunday, March 8th, the last day of it. But what are some great experiences that you've had at True Falls over the years volunteering?
Well, it's one of those things, it's like, I don't know if you like lived in Austin and didn't ever get involved in South by Southwest or something. It's just something that takes over our town. Even if you're not interested in film, if you're downtown and during True Falls, like it is in your face. People are you're like seeing all these weird people you from all over the world, and musicians are playing, and people are hollering at you to get into their trailer where they're playing movies and like. It's really rad. It's just a giant kind of like downtown festival party, and I started volunteering because I was so involved with the Ragtag Cinema when I first moved to town, and I think saw my first film in 2006 at the Missouri Theater. It was the documentary about Daniel Johnston, and I just couldn't believe that I just walked from campus over to the Missouri Theater, and they're showing this documentary about Daniel Johnston, this real cool guy, and there's like hundreds of people there that are engaged with it, and the director of the film's there, and I was hooked from then on. And 2007 I started volunteering and just hung out at the Blue Note, helped people get to their seats, and then watch films for 2 days, and I couldn't believe it. I've been volunteering ever since, and I now have since been employed at Ragtag and the bakery and have opened the record store, but I feel like I will always, in some facet, be involved with the film festival just because it's like, you know, it would be sad if you weren't. You know, it's just you would be missing out if you didn't get involved. And when you do volunteer, I mean, you basically you get to go to all the parties, you get to see all the films. Granted, if there's spacing available, but it's very seldom you won't get into a film you want to if you're on the ball about it. But it's just it's a wonderful experience here in Columbia. It's a very unique experience.
Awesome. Well, this has been KCOU at True Falls Film Festival here in Columbia, Missouri. This was Kyle from Hitt Records. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.